This is people power. This is not the power of billionaires and insiders. And yesterday, that was brought home to all of us when we saw that the two corrupt birds who fly together, Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo. And I heard them talking about family, oh, we're family. I said, could this be the sixth family of organized crime that has just come together? The Adams Cuomo crime family.
This isn't just a song.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo are two illustrations of the same broken politics.
A failed mayor endorsing a failed governor to continue to fail an already failing city that is failing because of them, starting with the very people who are supporting them still, who will drive them continuously into failure, and they've already failed them, and they'll continue to fail them. You're watching the MC Too Tall Show. I, of course, am your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. And I got my Washington Redskins logo next to me here. I'm not even a Skins fan. I'm a Bengals fan. I just, got this, to piss off the ethnically offended, the easily ethnically offended. But anyway, why am I a Bengals fan? Some of you might ask. I don't live in Cincinnati. That's true. But I don't live in East Rutherford, New Jersey either. So if I'm going to root for an out-of-town team, it might as well be someone that doesn't suck. And so that's always been my answer to that. And the Jets and Giants, not only do they suck now, they historically suck. Whereas the Bengals, they have a couple of rough seasons here and there, but most of the time throughout their history, they are in contention, at least, and have been to at least 3 Super Bowls, unlike the Jets, who have only been to 1. Anyway, so Eric Adams endorsing Andrew Cuomo, like that is supposed to make you feel happy about Andrew Cuomo. You're supposed to like this. You're supposed to be enthused, and this is supposed to sway you into backing up Andrew Cuomo. This kind of reminds me of when Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Remember that? Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Wasn't Dick Cheney said to be the devil by these very same people? Dick Cheney was so bad it caused Republicans to vote for Barack Obama, okay? The Bush-Cheney administration was so horrible, it caused Republican voters not to give John McCain a shot. Plus, a lot of us were very pissed off at McCain, too, for not running against Bush in 2004. it'll be the first time in a very long time that an incumbent president was primaried out, or would have been primaried out. Because George W. Bush would have been primaried out if McCain had ran in 2004. I know that for sure. By 2004, Bush wasn't very popular. He narrowly beat somebody who was very much like him, John Kerry. But anyway, the Bush and Cheney administration was so horrible, it turned a lot of Republicans into Obama voters. And we're going to look at that Cheney endorsement as a reason to vote for Kamala Harris, a.k.a. Kamala H. Emhoff. So, yeah, the Eric Adams endorsement has the same impact for potential Cuomo voters as that Cheney endorsement did for potential Kamala Harris, a.k.a. Kamala H. Emhoff voters. And then Kathy Hochul, speaking of endorsements, Kathy Hochul has some nerve accusing Andrew Cuomo of racism. I'm no fan of Andrew Cuomo, but he said nothing racist about Zohran Mamdani. But Kathy Hochul, she wants to chime in and tiptoe around the idea that Andrew Cuomo said something racist about Mamdani, and we will not tolerate this and this and that and bleep, blah, 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 blah. Kathy Hochul should shut up, that huckster. Huckster Hochul should shut up, especially considering who she endorsed. She endorsed an intifada jihadist socialist. So, just like the Cheney endorsement told you all you need to know about Kamala Harris, just like the Eric Adams endorsement should tell you all you need to know about Andrew Cuomo, the Kathy Hochul endorsement should tell you all you need to know about Zohran Mamdani. Okay? This is a governor on whose watch someone was burned alive by an illegal alien that she allowed into the state of New York, who had prior offenses in her jurisdiction, and he was just out and about, just burning people alive at the train station. Or at least one victim. One innocent victim. That happened on Huckster Hochul's watch. And she's got the goal to lash at Andrew Cuomo. As I said, I'm no fan of Andrew Cuomo, but the huckster shouldn't talk. No. The huckster should not talk. She's way out of line. She's got some nerve opening her mouth. Especially, as I said, considering who she endorsed. Now, if we will, let's look at who Curtis Lewa is endorsed by. And I'm telling you, these are people whose word you should count on and believe in. Take it from the top. Representative Nicole Maliotakis, Congresswoman of Staten Island and South Brooklyn. My Congresswoman, who I'm very proud to call my Congresswoman. Very ethical individual who cares a lot about her constituents and has done more for her constituents than any Democrat sitting in her seat. I can tell you that for sure. Particularly her predecessor, that baldy guy, Max Rose, that radical Democrat. Thank God he's not a congressman anymore. And good on Nicole Maliotakis for defeating him. But she endorses Curtis Sliwa, another congresswoman who many say will be the next governor of New York, Elise Stefanik. Another great and ethical woman, and her constituents love her up there where she is representing as well. State Senator Steve Chan, who represents my area of Brooklyn. This is a former soldier, former NYPD officer, a person committed to serve his country and community. And he endorses Curtis Sliwa. Who else endorses Curtis Sliwa? Well, all 5 Republican campaign committee chairs, all 5 county Republican committee chairs support Curtis Sliwa. Now it really gets heavy. Former Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, a man dubbed America's mayor for the professional way he handled the aftermath of 9/11. Another great statesman, former Governor George Pataki, who pulled New York State out of the ghetto after defeating the father of Andrew Cuomo, Mario Cuomo, who had New York State in a state of doom and gloom for many, many years. The relentless patriot and artist Scott LoBaido, a great man, a great patriot, a man who definitely loves America, an America first kind of guy, and he's both feet in full support of Curtis Sliwa. Longtime Democrat Robert Holden supports Curtis Sliwa. Freestyle artist Jay Magicus. Now, this is a person who's very outspoken against Donald Trump, and he supports Curtis Sliwa. Another person very outspoken against Trump, but a good friend of mine, DJ El Nene, a person who I've done many shows with in the past. He's in support of Curtis Sliwa. And he's a great guy, a great judge of character. And if he says, this is our guy, then this is our guy. The candidate for Brooklyn Borough President, Janine Aquafrida, she's in full support of Curtis Sliwa, as is yours truly. And you should definitely take my word. If none of these other people swayed you, understand that I, John A. Krantz, a.k.a. MC Too Tall, I am in full support of Curtis Sliwa. And I have the lawn sign outside in full proud display of my support of Curtis Sliwa. And I also know for a fact that Frank Fidelio, who you might know as Frankie Newts from the TV show Scrappers, he supports Curtis Sliwa. And a lot of people that I know are in support of Curtis Sliwa. This whole block, for example, I don't see anybody saying, well, we should give Cuomo a chance because he's got a better shot. Because I got into the whole deal with the polls. You know, real people that do real work don't have time to talk to some dweeb with a clipboard about who they like and who they don't like in politics. We just do our hard work every day, wait till election day, and then we vote. And that's kind of how Donald Trump became president again. They had Kamala Harris, Kamala H.M. Hoff, who I like to call Kamala Harris, neck and neck with Donald Trump. We saw how that worked out now, didn't we? Now, didn't we? So, you can't give me that. So, yeah. Look at it this way. All these people that I name have endorsed Curtis Sliwa. Eric Adams, who you saw the job he did as mayor, he's endorsing Andrew Cuomo. Kathy Hochul, you saw the job she did as governor. She endorses Zohran Mamdani. So you tell me who the better candidate is, who the most logical choice is. You're supposed to vote with your heart, not with fear of what might be. We're Americans. We're not supposed to live in fear. We're not supposed to hide under the skirts of some melancholy status quo legacy Democrat in hopes for things not getting worse than they already are. You're supposed to vote to improve and not move. And that's where we are right now. You vote with the heart. You vote with courage. I mean, I voted in 2012 for the presidential candidate, Gary Johnson. He was a little-known libertarian candidate. I voted for him because I didn't like what the Republicans had to offer. I didn't like Mitt Romney. And I despised Barack Obama. Had I seen Barack Obama in a bar in those times, I probably would have challenged him to a barroom brawl, complete with the allowance of use of bar stools. And you probably would have seen me dueling with bar stools with then President Barack Obama had he ever shown up in a bar where I was hanging out in 2012. So I certainly wasn't going to vote for him again. I certainly wasn't going to vote for Mitt Romney. I never liked Mitt Romney. So I voted Gary Johnson, and the end result was Barack Obama got in for a second term or whatever, but that's not my fault. That's not my fault. I remember back in 1990, I voted against Mario Cuomo. I didn't like the Republican candidate. I don't even remember who the Republican candidate was. I think it was Pierre Renfrey or something like that. I voted for a guy named Herb London, who was the conservative candidate. Granted, Cuomo won that last term, but that wasn't my fault. The Republicans finally had a candidate I believed in by 94, and I voted for that candidate, and he won. That guy's name was George Pataki, and we had 12 years of greatness in New York State, and George Pataki, as I mentioned, is part of this list of people who endorse Curtis Sliwa. So it's pretty clear. It should be a no-brainer. It should be a clear and obvious choice to go with Curtis Sliwa. And God be with Curtis Sliwa during this home stretch. By the way, early voting is today for those of you who would like to consider early voting. I have my own system. I don't speak on what my system is. It's not something that I talk about because I don't want people following my lead just in case my way of doing things isn't right for them. But it works for me. But as an influential being, I do have an obligation to my viewers to let everyone know that early voting starts today. If you live in my area, you would take a walk over to Most Precious Blood Church on Hallway Avenue. That's where you could do your early voting. And I believe the polls may close at 6 p.m. this evening, if I'm not mistaken. But check your websites. I'm sure the information is out there. And this concludes this episode of the MC Too Tall Show. And remember, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. Be good.